Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening, if you're on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, and watching, if you're on YouTube, Peter Talks Smackdown. This is episode 30. It's the magic number 30. It's hard to believe I've been watching SmackDown for the past 30 weeks. Because, it's like, I don't have a lot of time because I got like 2 jobs, and the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast takes a lot of time in terms of like editing and trying to promote and stuff. But I took on SmackDown just to do something different. You don't see too many SmackDown reviews online, and I was like, okay, let me start doing this. And it's actually been educational. I would say in past 30 weeks, it's been educational. Not only the product itself, SmackDown, WWE Smackdown, but also like my speaking and trying to, because it's one thing to have a conversation with Jake. It's another thing to just give you like a presentation. And I think, a review. And I feel like I've gotten better. And SmackDown is definitely, 30 weeks of SmackDown is definitely, I like to think that it has improved a lot just sitting and going over SmackDown or any other pay-per-view and delivering to you. So, I'm not going to say it's like a milestone, but definitely 30 weeks of doing Peter Talk SmackDown. I'm quite proud that I've been able to keep it up. So, and I've seen definitely a spike in the views and the listens, and I really appreciate it, guys. If you do enjoy these reviews along with all the other content, such as the New Day podcast with Nathan Newman of Eyes on the Ring, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, Jake Grande of Fasten in the World podcast, and that's about it. I want to come up with a new concept where I just take every week. I just take like a what would you call it? An issue or a hot topic, and just sort of give you maybe a 15 to 20 minute spew on how I feel about it. I think I may start next week. So keep your eyes out for that. So yeah, and if you enjoy all that stuff I already previously said, just hit the subscription button. Make sure you follow me on one of many, and follow and add me to whatever podcast favorites list you have, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher. You can also follow me on SoundCloud, and you can also, if you have a Tumblr account, you can start following on Tumblr. So let's get into this SmackDown from Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi, Texas. I think that's Texas. Well, anyway, a lot of time in Texas. I will straight up say that out of the 30 weeks of me watching WWE Smackdown, that this, hands down, has to be the most, you take WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. This is the most entertainment part SmackDown I've ever seen. Like, they really emphasized on the entertainment factor of this. It almost looked like a bona fide Raw, which is scary to me, because I don't watch SmackDown to watch Raw, even though they give you the Raw recaps and all that shit. I watch SmackDown to tie in storylines from Raw and a lot of action. Now, you get your action. You get your unique matches. Maybe you get your surprise wins. But this right here, this episode, I'm not saying that it's bad, but if I'll be sad to see this go down this path from here on out, because it's not SmackDown. This isn't. the SmackDown that I'm used to or will get used to. I would think either people who watch SmackDown would probably stop watching it because it's too much like Raw. It's way too much like Raw. And it's way too much fucking talking. Again, I don't watch this shit to hear a bunch of talking and see a bunch of backstage segments and stuff of that nature. A little bit, but you get a lot of in-ring action from people that you don't see on Raw too often. So, in itself, the episode starts with a super long, intensively long intro before they started playing like the theme song music and all that shit. And it was basically the Raw rebound at the beginning of the show. I think it ran for at least 3 minutes before the show actually started. And I was like, wow, okay, I see where this is headed. And on commentary, you have Rich Brennan. I'm not sure what happened to Tom Phillips. Maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's doing main event and SmackDown. And Superstars, or maybe I think he's over at NXT. But for the past couple of weeks, he hasn't been on SmackDown, and he's alongside Booker T and Jerry the King Lawler. And the opening segment is Kane. And if you can remember, he returned last Monday with this notion that he's kind of playing mind games and tricks on not only Seth Rollins, but also on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. That he's returned to work and he's gone back to being the director of operations, and meanwhile, Kane is running wild. No one can really pick up if Kane is just loony or he's playing these tricks. So he comes out, and this is what happened like 2 weeks ago on Raw, where it was almost like a variety show, which I don't like. I don't like when, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H go out there and it's like, hey, welcome to the Raw show, and tonight we're going to have this match and this match and this match and this match. I think they did that to sort of, I think there's a ratings thing where it's like, well, we can't keep things secret. Because they're going to always keep things secret. That's just the nature of the beast. You want people to be surprised in the stands rather than tell them a week or 2 or 3 weeks in advance that maybe you got like a surprise or something. That's how wrestling works. But maybe here they go ahead and put it out there just to say, for people who are just tuning in, it's like, well, am I going to watch this or not? Is this match worth sticking around for? And I just go, well, that's kind of the wrong way to go about it. If you did, within a week or the week before, mention that these matches are going to happen and have people talking about it, I think you wouldn't have to stand in front of a crowd and give a variety show of an intro. Like, you might as well play theme music. And they have done that, like, before. Played, like, an underbed of music while they're writing down the card for that night. But Kane kind of comes out there and does that, and he announces a chipper Kane, by the way. He's still playing this sort of Leave It to Beaver, very like, hello, buddy, kind of thing. But he announces the matches of Owens and Rusev with Ziggler and Ryback. He announces also Harper versus Reigns with Ambrose and the Wyatt family barred from ringside. He also, and then, I think he's about to go down the list, and Seth Rollins shows up. Now, here's where I'm upset. Because last Monday, Kane drug his ass under the ring. And all I could think to myself was like, well, this is a perfect way to sort of get him off TV. Right? For a while. He got drugged to the bowels of hell. This is what you want us to believe. You want to suspend our belief. The fact that he was fucking taken to the depths of hell. And then all of a sudden, he just pops up on SmackDown with no trace that even happened. Now, I understand before, with Kane and even The Undertaker, this idea of either putting people in caskets and shit, but dragging someone under the ring was a big deal. I mean, it really advanced the storyline somehow. And it made sure that whoever the fuck was drugged under the ring was in some serious shit. And now when you got this that happened Monday, and they do the tapings, this is taped. So the next day, on Tuesday, they do this show right after they have a live Raw. So, let's let go of the idea that, that this is taped. And just start thinking about the people in the arena at Corpus Christi to not only watch Raw the night before and see Seth Rollins get dragged under the ring. You're like, oh shit, this is shit hits the fan. He just walks out on top of the ramp with no sud on him. He got no bruises, no nothing, no cuts, no nothing. No nothing. He's not even looking shooken or scared or anything. And it's like, what? Wait a minute, didn't he just get drugged to the depths of hell? Like, what the fuck? WWE. And the use of this Kane gimmick of dragging someone into the ring, it has to end. It has to end right now. You just killed it. It serves absolutely no purpose anymore. Okay? None. All right? It's stupid. I think it's a shame because it's such a gimmick. It's such a good gimmick. And y'all just wrote that shit out. Y'all just went, oh, you know what? Fuck the dragging someone under the ring shit and actually making it mean something. All right? It's been real dragging someone under the ring. It's been real. So I hope everyone enjoyed that while it lasted. But he's out there and he's upset. And he basically calls Kane a liar and stop fucking with me. What you did to me Monday was all fucked up. And Kane doesn't remember. He doesn't remember a thing. He's putting out there that he doesn't remember. They go back and forth, and Seth is like, you need help. Motherfucker, you need some serious psychiatric fucking consultation, man. And he's like, oh, really? Well, I'm doing just fine. Meanwhile, you have a match tonight with Dean Ambrose. Eat it. No, he didn't say eat a dick, but he was like, all right, peace. And Rollins is just on there just pissed off. And that's the opening segment. We get a very unsuspenseful match between Roman Reigns, who I like to call Mr. Kick Slap Punch, clothesline, kick, slap, versus Luke Harper. And unsuspenseful as fuck, man. I mean, I don't even have it. Luke is the wrestler in this motherfucker, You get Mr. Kick Punch, Slap, Kick Punch, right? And then all of a sudden when Luke gets the offense, he's like doing some cool moves. Not no whip-de-doos. I mean, he's a big guy. He can do it. But he's like actually doing wrestling moves. And it was just like night and day. It's amazing. It fucking amazes me that there's been no advancement in the moveset of Roman Reigns. And I don't think there's any plans for him to actually have any movesets. He's just going to kick, he's going to slap, he's going to punch, he's going to clothesline. To all his way, all the fucking way to that championship belt. And that's just the character we're going to see. You'll probably get a slam or two, but it amazes me that a guy like Luke Harper has to be in the ring with a guy with no wrestling skills whatsoever. I mean, last Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, something that me and Jake sort of came to blows over, I mean, not blows, but we butted heads on is the idea of wrestling, and Nikki Bella and Brie, their last two performances, they worked a body part. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's still wrestling. And he's like, and Jake is like, wrestling, more wrestling. Like, and I get it. If you're independent, if you like the indies and you watch ROH and you watch New Japan and all the rest of other like wrestling stuff, I mean, they raised the bar high on what they consider wrestling. Yeah, there's no need to rewrite the book. I mean, at my age and the wrestling I seen as a kid, there was certain fundamentals that you went along with, and that was considered wrestling. And one of them was working the leg or working the arm or just working a body part. That's all. You don't need to do a bunch of flips and shit, especially if you're a heel, to keep the babyface staggering. Nikki and Brie did that the last 3 weeks on Raw, on Night of Champions, and then on Raw again. When it comes to Roman Reigns, the guy just doesn't do anything. He kicks, slaps, punches, and clotheslines. He doesn't work shit. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. And then I'm looking at Luke Harper like, my God, like, thank you for actually getting in some offense so I can see some wrestling. That isn't wrestling that Roman Reigns, he's in there as a wrestler, but he's not wrestling. He's kicking, he's punching, he's slapping, he's clotheslining. A slam is as close as it gets to Roman Reigns, but I digress. I just want to put that out there. I mean, I hope I'm not the only one that notices that. Please tell me I'm not the only one that notices that. All right? If you notice this shit too, like, just let's keep up with the Roman Reigns kick, punch, slap, clothesline fucking road to the championship. And let's keep count of if he does anything different, like a headlock or like a hold or something. It just blows my mind. Well, anyway, like right at the very end, Luke Harper goes in for like his spinning lariat, and that's met with a Superman punch. He bounces off the ring. He bounces off the rope. He comes back with another one, spinning lariat, and is met with a spear, and Reigns wins. New Day, they shoot on the Dudley's match at MSG. Nothing really to this. They're just in the back, and they say, hey, we're going to kick the Dudley Boys' ass at Madison Square Garden. Next up, we get maybe the match of the night. I fairly enjoyed it. You get the New Day with, all three will be wrestling, and Xavier Wood with Neville and the Lucha Dragons. I got another rematch. Wait a minute, is it a rematch? No, it's not a rematch. They're not going up against Cosmic Wasteland. My apologies. But yeah, it seems that they're just teaming up Neville and the Lucha Dragons. Again, I'll pop for the intro for the Lucha Dragons when they get in the ring and they get into the little b-boy stance. I dig that shit a lot. Once they got into the ring, the first people that were out there was Kofi and Neville. And all I could think was, man, this would make some good wrestling. This would be a good feud if they, it's SmackDown. It is kind of a testing ground. So I hope after this Stardust thing that he can move to Kofi, maybe, get in there to where he can actually get like a little one-on-one thing with him. That would be fun. I would greatly enjoy that. Kalisto is caught up. Kalisto is the guy who they cut the ring off on. So he's in there basically getting his ass handed to him. The trombone returns, and that's always fun. Sin Cara gets the hot tag, and there's a spot. I even filmed this and shit and posted it on my Instagram. If you do use Instagram, it's Ellen Japanese. Again, that's LinJapanese. I always get stuck there. But yeah, I post a lot of like wrestling shit on my Instagram now, more so than I used to ever, because I've become less ashamed of being a wrestling fan, I guess. I'm being way more open about it, buying T-shirts and posting stuff on my social media. But yeah, again, that's LINJAPANESC. Be sure to follow that. But there's a spot, man, and they just get all the New Day guys outside, and Sin Cara during his hot tag. You get Neville on one buckle, you get Kalisto on another buckle, and Sin Cara runs the ropes, and he does a swan dive flip, and Kalisto and Neville do like a flip off the top buckle to the outside. Perfection. The timing was right. Everything about that was great. That was awesome. So if you haven't seen, again, SmackDown, at least go to my Instagram and see that. Or just type up New Day versus Lucha Dragons and Neville, and just to see that one spot at the end. It was mwah, it was beautiful. New Day sold it like $1 million. Somehow Xavier Woods gets back into the ring because he's still the legal man. And Sin Cara's trying to get back into the ring, but Kofi Kingston is holding his leg. And that's enough to distract, I guess, Xavier Wood is like, my eye. And that distraction for the ref was Kofi Kingston holding Sin Cara down, holding his leg to keep him in the ring to kill his momentum, which results to Sin Cara catching like a shining wizard. I don't know if that was a shining wizard or just a fucking straight knee to the face. I mean, a shining wizard looks a little more majestic. That was nothing majestic about this whatsoever. This was like a hard knee to the face. And it looked brilliant. And that's how the New Day wins. Xavier actually gets the pin. And then they go and celebrate on the announce table, and that's pretty funny. You had an exhausted Xavier Woods still playing the trombone. All right, we get Cesaro versus Bo Dallas. The only thing that Bo Dallas really said on his walk to the ring was like, "I survived Suplex City. You can't even get off Big Show Boulevard." I thought that was pretty funny. But either way, there's one spot in this match. The only thing I can think is, okay, well, they're going to give Cesaro a win. That's the only thing I think. So I'll watch the match just to see whatever innovation is done with Cesaro. We do get one spot where he has his legs wrapped around. He's sitting behind him with his legs wrapped around Bo Dallas. And he's trying to get the pin. He tries to sort of roll him with his legs onto his shoulders. But then he just goes into a sequence of spinning him like 2 rotations. It looked pretty awesome. I think the crowd is like, they've never seen anything like that. No one's ever seen anything like anything that fucking Cesaro does. And he spins him around. He does like 2 rotations. I mean, very impressive. That's a strength and that's patience. And it was almost damn near like a perfect circle. It didn't look messy at all. And he tries to get a pin, one last pin. Bo Dallas kicks out. And I see Cesaro, he kind of looks around. I was like, hey, like that was kind of awesome, wasn't it? You get the people, they finally realize, but it's still not to the effect of, say, what if this was done at like ROH or some shit like that. But I think that somewhere during the match, there's a leg issue or something. Oh, no, they reworked legs and then reworked the back. There's a spot where there's a ridiculous back bump where Bo Dallas pulls the apron from under him. He comes down to his back, re-aggravating it from the Big Show match from last Monday. But and Bo works the back, but Cesaro ends up getting the win because he's like, I ain't about to fuck with this back shit. So it's a sense of urgency, right, to end the match. So Cesaro basically puts him in that fucking roll-up, which I would like to call, and if no one's called it that yet, I'm the first. All right. Cesaro roll up. Get it? Cesaro roll up. Where he hooks, it's like he hooks the arm with this leg. He comes down. He puts the other leg. The other arm. He hooks one leg with the arm. One arm with the leg. I'm sorry about that. He hooks one arm with the leg, vertical. He brings it down. While coming down, he latches the other arm behind the back. He rolls the guy up. So not only is one arm down, pinned with a leg, the other one is wrapped around the person's back. So there's no way you can kick out of this because you have no leverage with your arms to move. So it's almost like a perfect plex to a certain degree, but it's more like a perfect roll-up, a non-kick out roll-up. And it looks believable too because you look at some roll-ups that are just like, well, this guy could just still break free to a certain extent and kick out. Not with this motherfucker. You are locked down. Hence calling it the Cesaro roll-up. All right, let's keep that in our brains, kids. Here's the entertainment part. Not necessarily good entertainment, but the WW entertainment part, where we get Charlotte and Lynch, and I don't know. These girls need to not only, in the ring they're great, but on the mic they're crap. And you're trying to build this drama up. You want Charlotte to sort of let go. Like, you want her to speak on some shit. Tell him why you're mad, right? That's what you want. Becky, tell him why you're mad. Dud. And this was a very awkward as fuck. It was awkward. Paige comes out. And then there's also the can noise that made it that much more awkward, where it was like something was said and you get like this can noise, like, oh, it's just, ugh. Well, anyway, Paige comes out and she's trying to apologize, and it's a horrible apology. It's just a piece of shit apology. And the Charlotte and Becky are they're just going back and forth, and then Natalya comes out. My God, this is a hot mess, man. This is like a waste of everyone's time. Natalya's trying to reprimand Paige. Paige's like, fuck off. And she slaps the shit out of her. And that's it. Just walks out of the ring. And that's the end of probably one of the most awkward, uncomfortable segments you ever see in your fucking life. You just wanted to end so quickly. Just, okay, we get it. Now move the needle a little bit. Now, one of the things I was talking about with Jake is like, well, I don't see it as much as a heel turn, as much as her just isolating herself for the time being. Cooler heads will prevail, I guess. There's no one's got jacked up. No one's gotten hit. No one's done this. And out of all the relationships between like Team PCB and Natalya is the actual Natalya Paige relationship, which extends from the Total Divas. And this is probably why they're going to go in this direction, where who faces, well, I guess, you have Nikki Bella, to invoke her rematch clause on Charlotte. She's nowhere to be found in this segment. I wish she would have showed up, actually. But who is going to go after the belt after whatever with Nikki Bella? You got Paige, who's pissed off and wants the belt at Charlotte, but yet she slaps Natalya. So, boys and girls, Team PCB is still intact, all right? Like, they're still, you got, like, some other shit going on inside, like turmoil, which happens in any, faction or family or friendship. But she slaps Natty. and it looks like they're gonna have like a little episode. So I mean, that's why couldn't she slap Charlotte? You know, why couldn't she slap Becky? But it just goes to show this is not a heel turn. This is just her being a fucking brat. Brats, heels, they're two different things. It's one thing to be a brat and a heel turn. You know, heel turn is kicking someone, super kicking a motherfucker and throwing them through a goddamn barber's shop window. All right. We got the Kevin Owens with Rusev versus Ziggler and Ryback match, and it's funny how they're not focusing on the fact that Kevin Owens and Rusev have a history of bad tagship. They hate each other as a tag team. You know, I think he's walked out on Rusev twice. Just so who's ever putting these matches together is like, I don't think this is work. But you want to build drama between the two heels, at least try not to make one of the heels look sympathetic. And every time this happens, Rusev is left in the ring while the baby faces are just whooping his ass, making him into a sympathetic figure. I think there's a spot where I think Rusev catches a concussion. And we're here about it. I guess you're here about it. If you haven't already heard about it, again, I'm just now watching SmackDown, and he looks like he takes a wicked bump off of that DDT, and he looks woozy. There's a part where the referee is just over there talking to him, and you can see that he's on the apron just trying to catch his wits. It's one thing to sell a move, but it's one thing to be woozy. And Ryback was woozy. The look on Summer's face was something isn't right. And every time he got into the ring, you can see that he wasn't coherent. So we'll figure this out. I mean, if he shows up Monday to Raw, it'll be a surprise to me. They're gonna have to go through protocol with him. Because the way that he continued this match, it just didn't look good. Even to the point where, in a Ryback hot tag, he tries to go for one, the sort of spin kick, the jumping spin kick that he does. It gets nowhere. It looks real bad. And I just like, yep. Rusev has a concussion. But Owens walks out on Rusev again. Surprise. And Ryback shell shocks Rusev out there, super kick by Dolph Ziggler. And that's that. Again, Rusev as a sympathetic baby face, he is. Owens, who's kind of like, he's jerking it up the wrong way as an Intercontinental champ. He's more like he's acting like a 6-year-old to me. Like with the belt, he photobombs Rusev's intro. He puts his, then he like dancing with the belt. I mean, I get it. I don't like that kind of heel shit. Stop being like him and Paige should be a tag team. Actually, it should be Paige and fucking Kevin Owens, and they call them the Brat Brigade. They're just they're just two brats. It'd be awesome. They'd take on the world's cutest tag team. Just book it. Take my money. We get the Dudleys in the back with Renee Young, and they basically shoot on their match with the New Day. That's going to happen at Madison Square Garden. And the Primetime Players show up. They congratulate them, basically give them props on being the number one contenders. And then after they get the tag teams, look them up. They'll be the next contenders. PTP's been off TV for a while, and for good reason. There's nothing really of them. They were horrible champs. And, go away for a while. Whatever. And then you have the Dudley Boys. And I was listening to something that was like, well, I think because the New Day are so entertaining, I think the crowd may just end up turning on the Dudley Boys, and I definitely see that happening. I do see that happening. I just hope the Dudley Boys cut it off at the pass. Now, again, the New Day are awesome, awesome tandem. Not as heels, but just a tandem. If they cut it off at the pass, would the Dudley Boys just get real mean on the New Day? The ref is going to have to step in at the MSG. The ref is going to have to step in, and then he's going to have to take a bump to really solidify the turn. Like, cut off at the pass. Let the Dudley Boys be the heels. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. I don't say they should go with that, but if they're going to do it and they want to cut it off at the pass, there's no better time than now, because they're just. I would much rather the Dudley Boys catch their own heel heat, than say get X-Pac heated. Just because everyone loves the New Day so much. We get Seth Rollins in the back with JoJo, and he just talks about how Kane sucks and how he's going to destroy Dean Ambrose. As Rollins comes down to the ring for the main event, Ambrose versus Rollins, there's a sign right up front that says, "We miss J&J." I thought that was pretty funny. Action-packed match, but like every other match by Ambrose and Rollins, no one gets heat at all. They don't allow each other to stay down. It's like, okay, here's my moves, here's my punches. All right, here's my moves, here's my punching. There's nobody down for more than 10, 15 seconds. So you just get back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's just, it's nothing I ain't seen before already. And one thing that this match lacks, at least heat, it lacks emotion. It lacks hatred. It lacks passion. And you still have this storyline of Seth Rollins being an asshole and breaking free from the Shield. And there's been times where Roman Reigns didn't even care. You got Dean Ambrose, who was focused on this for a while. And now it's just all dissipated. It's just like, all right, whatever. Like, these are two dudes. Put them in a ring with no history. And this match showed no signs of any passion or anything that said before. I mean, it's just some residue. Just a little bit of residue that these guys, I mean, you're in the ring with a guy that turned his back on you. And it just something. I mean, I know it's been time past, but I don't know. It's some sort of reminiscent of something should just go on in this match. I just couldn't get in. I just couldn't get invested. It was a good match though, whatever, but it just lacked severely. Near the end of the match, the ref almost takes a bump in the corner, right? Where it was just confusion of him being in the corner and Dean Ambrose being whipped into the corner, catching himself, and then Seth Rollins goes at him in the corner. He lands on the ref, not enough to take him out, but enough to sort of put his back on him and then thump to the eye. And I popped. I'm like, oh wow, something dastardly, awesome. And then he hits him with a buckle bomb. And then after he hits him with the buckle bomb, you hear the explosion, the pyro. Then the ring goes red. It's the Kane distraction. Seth Rollins is like, where you at? Where you at, Kane? He's not even worried about the dude that's in the ring with him right now. And burp, 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 burp. I wish I had a trombone. I wish I had Xavier Woods' trombone to sort of just blow this in, but we get, boys and girls, a distraction roll up with a handful of tights while everything is still red and stuff. Ambrose finally beats Rollins. These guys have been at it for a while. a long while. Seth Rollins has won every single match that those two have been in. Every single one, from the ladder match to the Hell in a Cell, all of that shit. All of it. All of them. And on SmackDown of all places, not Raw, but SmackDown, he gets a handful of tights on the distraction roll up. If it happens on SmackDown, it doesn't happen. This is the first, even when he pinned him, the look on Ambrose's face was like, oh my God, I won. And he just runs out the fucking ring like a punk bitch. It just floored me. He just kind of just gallops out the fucking ring. Like, oh, I escaped with the win. Like he's just some guy, he just faced some guy. Oh, God. All right. After that, Seth Rollins just grabs the mic and he's like, fuck you, Kane. I'm eat a dick, nigga. Fuck off, man. I'm the best. Fuck you, Kane. Can't stand you. I'm best. Awkward. It was awkward. So, and that's how the show ends. And I understand the entertainment factor, man. But this was so entertainment driven that it almost made me puke. Good action. Stay up on the Rusev thing. Stay up on the Rusev thing because I think he may not be on Raw Monday. We'll see what happens moving forward with Paige and Natty because it looks like that's going to be the thing while Charlotte is waiting for a match with Nikki Bella. What happens with Becky Lynch? We don't know. I guess she's just a little sidekick to Charlotte for the time being. Was it Team Bad wasn't there today? I don't know. We still get the storyline with Kane and Seth Rollins. Ambrose did get a win on SmackDown. It didn't happen. They won't even mention it. I doubt they even mention it on Raw. We see the return of the primetime players. Rusev becoming more and more of a sympathetic heel bait. He's in return. And Cesaro, he's only left to beating, superstar main event caliber, on SmackDown. That's all he's good for. So, thank you for checking out episode 30 of the Peter Talks SmackDown podcast, YouTube video. Damn, I ran long. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter, PJTW Central. Again, that's PJTW Central. Hit the subscribe button below. If you're on Stitcher, if you're on SoundCloud, if you're on iTunes, share this shit, man. Share it. Just retweet it. Just hit the button. Just hit the little button that points up. Just hit it and just hit share. That'd be awesome. You can also leave a comment. You can like it, thumbs up, all that stuff, man. We would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. Again, the content, the New Day podcast, which is me and Nathan Newman. We're just talking about just wrestling issues, and we go into some things, Then you got Peter and Jake Talk SmackDown. You have this Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. You get New Day Podcast, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. You get Peter Talks SmackDown and Peter's Raw Recap, depending on what Monday Night Football game is going on, whether it's worth me watching that live or watching Raw live. But yeah, subscribe and do all those things. And there's no anything going on this weekend other than just football. College football, NFL. Get your drafts right. Get your fantasy good. And enjoy your weekend. It's pretty drizzly over here. It's bad weather here in Greensboro, North Carolina. But we get through it. Everyone have a safe weekend. Watch out for those foreign objects. Peace.